Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paula's Soapbox Live. I am here with one of the stars of the hit web series Super Knocked Up. She plays Cheery Villain on the show. So please welcome to my show, actress Catherine Mancuso.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining me. I know you're very busy, so it means a lot that you're taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here.
Oh, please. Thank you. This is fun. This
Yeah.
is exciting.
Yeah, and if it works, even better.
Exactly. Fingers still crossed.
Crossed. Okay, so how did you become involved with Super Knocked Up?
I got involved with Super Knocked Up. It's a crazy story. I went so you know how there's a bunch of different Comic-Cons. There's not just, San Diego, New York. There's little ones everywhere.
Right.
I had gone to one in New York called Big Apple Comic-Con, which is a small one right across the street from Penn Station. And a friend and I went figuring we could ease our way into Big Comic-Con that way. So we got tickets, we decided to go, and I brought some headshots and resume, and I told my friend on the way in, which I've never said before, it's like, today, my goal is to make somebody want me to be their supervillain, whether that's to draw me in a comic book or like a web series or a movie. I want to be somebody's supervillain by the end of today. And the second booth we went to was Super Knocked Up, and it was awesome. Jeff had out a sheet of all people to sign up to be extras on the show. So I figured, hey, why not? I'll put my name down. I gave him my headshot and resume, and he called me not too long later and said, you know what? There is a role that is perfect for you. I want you to play it. And voila, Cheery Villain was born.
Are you surprised by the show's success?
To be honest, I'm always surprised because there's so much to consume out there. I'm always surprised when anything has a chance to succeed because, who decides this is what's going to succeed and what's not. But after reading the script and reading the concept, I just thought it was genius, and I couldn't believe no one had ever thought to do that before. So I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I just figured it had to succeed. It had to be something awesome, and it's skyrocketed, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's a very clever concept, and it seems so obvious now why, yes, of course, a supervillain and a superhero have a one-night stand and have a baby, and, I'm surprised, like you said, that no one had come up with that concept before, but, thankfully someone did, and it's taken off. A lot of people have responded to it.
Exactly, and I think it's wonderful. And for people out there that don't know what Super Knocked Up is about, it is, like you said, it's about a super villain and a superhero have a one-night stand, get knocked up. She has a baby, a super baby, and we're in season, anxiously awaiting the season 2 finale. But yeah, there's all sorts of crazy, fun stuff that ensues in the meantime, but yeah. And Cheery Villain, my character, is obsessed with Darkstar, who is our super villain.
Yeah, I love the Cheery Villain character. I hope there's a season 3, and if there is a season 3, I hope we get to see more of you and your character. So
thank you. Me too.
Yeah. What would you like to see happen to your character if it returns for another season?
I would love to see Cheery Villain fall in love, and I would love to see Cheery Villain gain superpowers, because so far we haven't seen her superpowers. Right now she's just a fangirl. Right. And I think she's villainous enough on the inside, even though she's super perky and super happy. I have my ideas of what I'd love for her superpower to be. But I think Jeff might have his own ideas, and but I'd love to see her superpowers, and I'd love to see her fall in love, because I just think that's hilarious.
So what would you like to see her superpowers be?
I came up with one that her superpower was to kill people with kindness, which sounds really sweet, but it's super gruesome because, in my mind, when she smiles at someone, the longer she smiles at you, the hotter your blood becomes, and you boil.
That's really good. It's very diabolical, but it's very
It sometimes scares me where my brain goes, but yeah.
Well, it's just the creative process. You're just talking up to that. Okay, so I read that you are a member of the Brave New World Repertory Theater Company, and I looked over that, read a little bit about it. It sounds like a very rewarding company to be a part of. So, do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
I would love to. I love Brave New World. I think I'm a member of this company for a number of years now. They do really great stuff. Their basic concept is to do plays for Brooklyn by Brooklyn, so to make it more accessible to people that can't make it into the city or that don't have the money to spend on a Broadway show. And it's evolved, and I think the company right now, we're either in our 11th or 12th year as a company, and there are some major changes happening, which is exciting. But we're trying to do more Brooklyn-based writings, so getting playwrights from Brooklyn to provide us with pieces to perform. And a lot of what we do is we do things in site-specific areas. So, for instance, a couple of years ago, we did The Crucible, and The Crucible was set in oh my goodness, and now of course my brain just went completely blank, but we did it in the old stone house in Park Slope-ish area, and it's an old historical venue that was part of the Civil War in Brooklyn. So it was a really cool concept that they do a lot of site-specific stuff. We had just finished a production of Nuns recently, which is a very interesting, awesome show. And this weekend, Friday and Saturday, we are doing a show called Pink Melon Joy, and it's by Gertrude Stein, and it is fascinating. I have the pleasure of being in it, and I still can't wrap my brain fully around it. It is so experimental and just... yeah, it's not your usual like linear plot and these are the characters and here's their problem. It's the words just sort of just to give you an idea. The first time I read the script, I told the director I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it because I thought I was stupid because I didn't understand what I had just read. Yeah. And she was like, if you had understood it, that would have been scary.
Yeah. Good. So, so where is this going to be held at? Where can people come see it?
Sure, it's at Cloud City, and that is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Okay. And it's just this Friday evening at 7, and Saturday afternoon at 2, and Saturday evening at 7. And each show has a pre-show talk about a half an hour before each performance, so that you can understand what you're about to see.
Yeah. Well, it sounds really cool. It sounds like a really neat experience to kind of stretch your acting muscles and that sort of thing. So,
yeah, it's totally crazy. It's so unlike anything I've ever done, and it's extremely overwhelming of a process too. It's a very quick process, and everyone else in the show except one other person has done this piece before. So being thrown into something that is so confusing even to the actor, and having maybe a week to get it up on its feet. I'm excited. I like to think of it as scare-sighted, like I'm petrified, but
right, I'm scare-sighted. That's a good word.
Thank you. So yeah, it should be, if nothing else, it should be a fantastic time. Yeah, that leaves people with questions.
Well, I'm sure you'll do great. I mean, you did great in the show, so I mean, you're clearly a very talented actress, so I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Thanks.
So we talked about the acting a little bit, and I read on Super Knocked Up, you did like a short little fun interview, and they asked the question, if you had your own reality series, it would be called Seriously? So what's the concept behind that?
It's even still, and that interview was a bit ago, and it still very much applies. I think it's just from those moments in life, and they happen so often to me, which I guess is why my web series would be called that. When something happens, and that's your only response, is all you can do is go, seriously? That just happened? Seriously?
Yeah.
Perfect example. I went to go see Much Ado at Central Park at the Delacorte this weekend, and we were waiting online, and usually it's just such a friendly environment. Everybody's so wonderful. Everybody is like, we're waiting to get free tickets, and you're going to see Shakespeare. Like, nobody has ill feelings towards anyone at Shakespeare, in my opinion. You just, how? And at intermission, there were these two men screaming at each other as if they were at a hockey game. Like, why don't you back down? Step back. And it was bizarre to me because it was like, you're at a Shakespeare show. Like, I don't understand what could have happened to bring you to that point. And apparently this man's girlfriend was talking through the first act, and the man turned around and said, okay, are you going to talk through the whole second act too? And the boyfriend of the girl went insane. And that's funny on its own. But while one usher and the two ushers are standing in front of me, one of them goes running to deal with that, and the other one starts laughing because over the headset she's being called to go deal with someone in the bathroom. This woman had walked in with like 8 miniature dogs not on leashes. Just walked into the bathroom for whatever reason, and that was all I caught of it. But it was that moment where I went, seriously, what is happening?
Right. You expect people to be a little bit more civilized than that at a Shakespearean event.
Right. I guess, I mean, it's also, I suppose it's because it's in Central Park as well. There's all sorts of amazing people watching going on, like a man walking by in a Speedo without shoes on, drinking at the water fountain, and then going into the bathroom barefoot. I just, seriously?
Yeah, I say that all the time, so I'm not going to be able to say that from now on without thinking, there is a topic for her web series, reality series, or whatever. Seriously?
We need to create this. I feel like maybe the universe is saying we have to create that show.
Right, exactly. There's definitely a place for it, I think, because there's just a lot of those moments out there. You look around, it's like, seriously?
Don't have that pleasure of having to deal with that all the time. Hey, we could bring it to them.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure everybody would be like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Because you can't write that stuff. That just happens.
No. Well, okay, so tell me about Crochet Fina. We've talked a little bit about this. This is your crochet products. So tell me about what sorts of products you offer and where people can find them.
You're wonderful. I love this. Crochet Fina is, I started crocheting about 7 years ago and became kind of obsessed. And I started with just making scarves. And it went from scarves then to hats, and my mom did basics, and then I kind of self-taught. So I've made everything from hats to scarves to baby blankets to stuffed animals to baby sweaters. My favorite stuff is stuffed animals, just because they're amazing and adorable when they're done. But yeah, it's called Crochet Fina. You can find me on Facebook under Crochet Fina, or you can find me on Etsy under the same shop name as well. And I also am currently selling my items at a store in Bay Ridge called the Bookmark Shop. So I'm selling my items there, and I'm also teaching crochet classes there as well. So it's kind of helping me branch out into this whole new crochet world.
Yeah. Well, you kind of inspired me to want to try to crochet, so yeah, I've been looking at your stuff, and like you said, I mean, you've made some really adorable things. So I hope people check it out. And I did manage to get you a couple of new followers. So
yes, I thought. Thank you.
Not as many as I was hoping for, but we'll keep trying. So
hey, no, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully people will check that out because you are very talented with that, and you do a good job. So is that the only sort of crafty thing that you're into, or are you into a lot of other things like that?
I kind of am into all things crafty. Crochet tends to be the thing I'm most obsessed with, and just seeing what crazy things come out of me. Sometimes following a pattern, sometimes not. But I did just finish teaching. I'm a teaching artist as well. And we had our semester, and this semester I had the pleasure of teaching cooking and Legos and arts and crafts. So I do all sorts of crafty things. And last semester I taught a puppet workshop as well. So that actually inspired me to do more crafty things for the summer. And I've got 2 weeks of summer camps that I've created through the bookstore, the bookmark shop. And we've got, a princess theme and a superhero theme and what else? A pirate theme, a crochet theme, and a puppet theme. That we set up, 1-week camps for certain ages. And those are the kind of crafts I like. I mostly like crafty stuff for kids because watching them create it, it's just, there's nothing better. Yeah. And it always comes out so creative and so amazing.
Yeah, you were telling me about something the last time we talked that a little boy had done for Memorial Day.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is just to show you how smart and amazing children are. This little boy, I had given them the idea of for a Legos class I was doing. We did Memorial Day as the theme, and they told me that Memorial Day, because I asked if they knew what it was about, and they said Memorial Day is to honor our soldiers, both alive and dead, which I thought was extremely impressive for 4- and 5-year-olds. And my little boy, at the end, when I asked him what he had built, he said he made one piece that was a soldier looking at a flag, and another piece that was roses where the soldiers should have been. 4 years old.
That's so profound for a 4-year-old. I've met adults that are not that deep.
Exactly. Exactly. It just that's those moments when kids leave you speechless, and I live for those moments because you can't beat those. That's a serious moment.
I imagine that's very rewarding because kids are sort of fearless with their creativity. So I imagine that's a very rewarding thing for you to do.
It is, and we just to go with Super Knocked Up, the whole superhero theme, we had created for our final project in arts and crafts. We had our last week this week. And we made capes and wristbands and masks out of all sorts of different things, and they got to decorate their own. And they helped me to make a photo booth where they wrote out Wingspan Super Kids. That was what they wanted to call themselves, like the Avengers, Wingspan Super Kids. And it was a blue sheet with clouds on it, and they each laid down and took pictures as if they were flying, with their capes, with their whole super get-up on. And it was just adorable, and they were so creative about it. It was fantastic.
Wow. Yeah. So how did you get started doing that, working with the kids, doing crafts and stuff?
Sure. A while ago with Brave New World, we tried to do a spring break camp. And a friend and I, 2 of the women in the company and I, decided to do a puppet camp. And one of the women knew how to build puppets, but also, more importantly, knew puppetry. I was very creative and good with kids, and the other person has done acting classes with kids. So it was like between the 3 of us, we created this one cohesive class, and we didn't have as great of a turnout as we had anticipated. And so we decided to bring that out of the company and just do it on our own. So we did a session of puppet camp together, and we did a couple of weeks with I think 7- to 9-year-olds, and we built puppets with them, and we created a whole show. We wrote the show. They wrote the show, honestly. So it was just incredible, and I had never taught before, and I was so nervous about it. But it just kind of went from there. I got involved with Wingspan Arts, and they just started giving me more and more classes, and I guess that's the best way to learn, is just to do it. So yeah.
Well, like I said, it sounds very rewarding. So okay, so you kind of shifting gears here, you're capable of doing a variety of different accents and tones and that sort of thing. And we talked last time you did get to participate in an animated series.
Yes.
So what was that like, and tell us about that.
It was one of my first voiceover gigs that I've ever done. It just so happened I was working in the office of a voiceover company. One of our coaches was recording an Iron Man motion comic. And he said, I just need a couple of people for a crowd voice, and I need some people, one person to just do one line. And my hand immediately went up because Iron Man is my favorite. So I was like, yes, please, please pick me. So we tried out all these different voices, and it was so funny because I ended up being, and it was just one line. It was Iron Man is cool. That was all I had to say. And we did, woman swooning kind of voice. We did teenage girl voice. We did sarcastic, jealous guy voice. And then we finally eventually landed on little boy admiration, which was hilarious to me that I voiced a little boy character.
So how did that go?
It was amazing. It was so much fun to play around in this and it's branched further and further from there with voiceover stuff. Not as much animation stuff as I would love, but we will get to that.
Well, I listened to your sample of some of the different tones and dialects and voices that you can do. So, yeah, I definitely think that animation is in your future. I think that you could do a lot of that. So,
thanks.
You do it well.
Thank you. I would love to do that. Again, anything that can make children laugh or creative. Yeah, that's all right by me.
Well, you do tutorials right now too on stylefix.com. So that's sort of some of your voiceover work. So what sort of videos can you be heard in?
On the StyleFix right now, there are a whole ton of different tutorials on the newest fashions, whether it's upcoming for summer or if it's past stuff for winter. But every couple of weeks they are putting out new videos. Which, if you know much about me, I'm not very I'm very simple when it comes to that stuff. But they have crazy awesome videos on how to do fancy manicures to yourself, which I don't know if you can see my nails, but they are not manicured. In fact, because of crocheting. Because of crocheting, that nail polish usually lasts about 15 minutes, and then it's chipped and falling off anyway. But there were crazy things about, like, painting plaids on your nails and how to do, like, rhinestone, like, 3D stuff and flowers. And I was just fascinated by it, which I thought was always fun to do.
You have to not work with your hands at all to put that much time and effort into it, because I would not spend 3 hours a day on my nails to have them flake off and get messed up in an hour. It's just not worth it.
Right, and they look cool. They look really cool. Yeah. But I wish I could be one of those women that did that. Yeah. Or men, whoever's doing this. I wish I could be one doing that tomorrow. That'd be awesome.
Right. So have you thought about, like, doing sort of your own tutorials for, like, your crocheting
I've thought about it. I actually only very recently got into teaching crochet, and I was very nervous about it because sometimes, you can do something, but you don't know how to teach it. So it was making me really nervous because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to teach it. But since teaching with the bookmark shop since, I would say, February, March, my confidence in that has grown because I've had a bunch of students come in and pick it up. So that's the biggest compliment to a teacher, is when a student gets it. So I'm thinking about it, although I really do love teaching live, and I love having that personal connection. I think I've always had issues. The reason I liked to self-teach myself how to do, different crochet things was looking at YouTube videos isn't quite the same as sitting next to someone or just, working it out yourself. And sometimes I found that YouTube videos would almost confuse me just because I'm watching their hands and I'm like, but I hold the hook differently, or I do this differently, and the person's not there for me to ask. So it's one of those moments where I'm like, I'm a people person. I like having that connection. So even though I'm considering tutorials, there's still that huge part of me that's like, but it's always better in person, so come see me in person instead.
Well, good for you. There's really, I feel like there is not enough personal interaction these days anyway. Everyone's on their devices, and, verbal communication is kind of a dying art, I think. So it's good that there's still people in the world that are, want to connect with people live.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
I sound like a really old person.
No, that's how I feel.
I'm talking up these days.
I'm the person person that's like you and your Kindle. I like my paper in my hands. I like the smell of books. I like the feel of pages.
Right.
I'm that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I like to have a hard copy of something in my hands. So yeah, we have that in common. Okay, so the fun part of the interview.
Yes.
You are a huge fan of Saved by the Bell.
I am.
And actually, did you know that they're doing like an unauthorized behind-the-scenes?
I saw that.
Yeah, on Lifetime. So that'll be interesting. I think it's coming out Labor Day. So
that will be really interesting. I get nervous when people do parodies. I just saw Bayside the musical recently.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I'm sure there are tons of people out there that super love it, and I don't want to knock it down because I think theater of all sorts is wonderful.
Right.
It was Saved by the Bell, and it hurt my heart that it was like kind of dirty and raunchy and lots of cursing and.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to mess with Saved by the Bell. I mean,
exactly. I just wanted it to be a parody of, like, you know, heightening how silly and cheesy it kind of was.
Right.
But it wasn't what I was expecting. But if you go in there expecting it to be that way, I'm sure you'll love it. But I did get to see Dustin Diamond, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, we're going to test your knowledge here and see how much you actually know about Saved by the Bell.
Oh, my goodness. I'm nervous. Okay.
Okay, so Saved by the Bell was a revamped version of what series?
Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the doorbell. Yay.
Yeah. Saved by the Bell.
I love it.
Okay, so who did Kelly break up with Zach for?
Oh, college guy, creepy college guy. What's his name? Was it Jeff?
Yes!
Yes! Exactly! I remember his, like, perfect Ken hair.
Right. Okay, so bonus points if you can tell me the actor's name.
Oh, that I have no idea.
You have no idea.
That I don't know.
Okay, it's Patrick Muldoon.
There we go. And that's a famous name.
Yeah, he was on Days of Our Lives for a while, so.
Okay. That's why I can picture it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Yes. What is the name of Bayside's radio station?
KKTY Bayside.
Yes!
Yay! KKTY Bayside.
What is Bayside's mascot?
Tigers.
Yes!
Do you remember the episode when Screech was the tiger?
Yes! Yes.
With the ant?
I had them memorized for a long time, so yeah. I remember all of them.
I feel like we're kindred spirits. I love it.
I think so. Okay, so which two characters were trapped in the boiler room during their senior prom?
Oh, Slater and Jesse?
Yes!
Yay! I got covered in, like, soot somehow.
Yeah, they were trying to turn the heat up or something to get everyone's attention in the gym, and the knob broke off and soot or something came flying out and they got filthy. So
yes. Oh, that's what it was. And that was the prom that they had. Was that the prom with Tori? Not with Lisa, not with no, that wasn't.
No, this was the one where they didn't really have money for a prom, so they used the set of Oklahoma. They were doing the play, and they used the set for that, so it was sort of like they were all in cowboy boots and that sort of thing. So
I was confusing that one with the Halloween costume party that was
the masquerade ball or something, where somebody was Gumby. I can't remember somebody dressed up as Gumby.
Yes, exactly.
I just remember that. I don't. That's the part I remember of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the name of Screech's robot?
Oh my gosh, Kevin.
Yes!
I love Kevin. He was great.
Yeah, and they didn't have him on there very long. I think he was only on there for like 1 or 2 seasons, and then they just sort of forgot about him. So.
Right, and it happens to a lot of those side characters where it's like if you're about to become more important than the main ones, we gotta get rid of them.
Right, sort of like Marcel on Friends. You know, he was getting too much attention, so.
He was so important. He was the star.
Okay, so what does the AC stand for in AC Slater?
Albert Clifford.
Yes! You're too good at this.
It's kind of scaring me, actually.
Well, I came up with the questions and I know the answers, so.
That's perfect. So then, again, kindred spirits.
Right,
Perfect.
exactly. We're just like right there. Okay, so what Beverly Hills 90210 alum played Violet Bickerstaff, Screech's love interest?
Tori Spelling.
Yes!
Yay! Tails.
Right. She was unrecognizable in that role.
She was. It's true.
She was, yeah. Okay, so what was the name of the girl Zach was involved with when he worked at the Malibu Sands Beach Club, and what now famous actress portrayed her?
Okay, Stacey Carosi.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I can't remember her first name, but Ramini is her last name.
Yeah, Leah Remini.
Leah Ramini. There we go. Yeah. I want to say Elisa. I don't know why Elisa was coming out. I knew that was wrong.
Well, there's an L in there, so.
It's similar-ish.
Yeah, ish. Okay, so what was the name of the place where all the kids hung out?
The Max.
Yes!
Hey, apparently the only place to hang out in town.
Right, exactly. It was the place, the only place.
And it was easily accessible to do anything you wanted if you wanted to shut it down, only if you were the 6 main characters.
I know, yeah. Yeah, they had like dance competitions, and I think they had like some sort of senior kickoff party or something there. Or
Everything that they just didn't want to do in the gym, it was at the Max.
Right, it was at the Max. What was the name of Zach Morris's band?
Zack Attack.
Yes!
I was a Zack Attack groupie. I really loved
it. Okay, last question.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. Here we go. I feel like I should do like a drum roll here.
Makes me nervous.
How many spin-offs did the show have, and what were their titles?
Okay. The first one was The College Years.
Yes.
And the second one was New Class.
Yes! Good job!
Is that it?
That's it! That's it! You won! You won absolutely nothing except for
a geek badge.
Do I get as a badge of honor?
I get everyone in internet land to know I'm a huge Saved by the Bell geek.
Yes! Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Awesome.
Okay, so before we go, do you have any other projects in the works that you would like to tell us about, or anything you would like to add?
Vacation. I desperately need a vacation. No, I'm creating new stuff all the time for Crushafina. I've got those 2 summer camps coming up this summer. And other than that, I am trying to give myself a little bit of a break. So hopefully in the next couple of months there'll be crazy big news. But for right now, I'm very excited to take a load off and allow the summer to be my time to soup up for winter. So especially if anybody out there does need customized crochet items for a holiday, you know where to come. Just let me know as soon as you can.
Holidays, birthdays, and you do customize some of your stuff, right?
I do indeed.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll try to send some more followers your way, and be sure to let us know when we can see the season finale of Super Knocked Up as well.
Yes, so. I will absolutely. I'm anxiously awaiting myself. So as soon as I know, I will let you know, and all of your fans know as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you you coming on and answering some questions and just taking a little time out to chat with me. So
thank you. This is so much fun. Let's do it again soon.
We will definitely do it again. Okay. Well, I'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.